Yeah, I just thought it would be so powerful. You have such a great story to share, and there's people who are in a
Yeah.
similar position as you, and especially where you were before you came to emlovz. And I was just
Yep.
hoping that you would share a little bit about your story, kind of where you were before emlovz and where you're at now.
Absolutely. So, just before, a little bit about me. I'm a West Point graduate. I was a military brat. I've been in the Army now, active duty for 12 years. And I will say throughout my 20s, and probably like the majority of men, had a very challenging dating life. And I think a lot of it really has to come down to not having a good coach or mentor or someone even kind of telling you, hey, this is how you should date. And I ended up going to West Point, so there wasn't really a whole lot of women that went to West Point. It's essentially it changed now. I mean, it's a different army now, but for all intents and purposes, it's an all male school. So I didn't really start dating until I was after college, like in my early 20s. For the most part, I only really had maybe two long-term relationships. And my most, well, it's now no longer my most recent, but I went through a really big breakup, and one of the things that happens throughout breakup or heartbreak, you end up getting motivated to do something to get outside of your comfort zone, and that's really the place where I was. I just also came back from overseas. I was in Central America for a year. So, my girlfriend just dumped me. She left me for another guy. And now I'm a stranger in a strange land now. I'm in Augusta, Georgia. I'm trying to get like settled. And, I had this idea of I thought things were going to kind of like work itself out, or, I had this perfect future with my ex-girlfriend. So I ended up researching online. I think I wanted to get serious about dating, but I just felt like I owed it to myself. I wanted to get back in the dating world, and I wanted it to be different than how it was in my 20s. I wanted to find higher quality women, and I mean, also through heartbreak too. It's like I wanted something to kind of take my mind off of that breakup. So really, you came down in the top searches. I think when I was thinking of a dating coach, I don't know if I originally thought of this, but it just kind of came out as I saw you and I was like, oh, emlovz, she's looks very attractive. That was that was kind of the first, like, I think that was kind of like my hook into it. I didn't even know, like, you were married or anything. And I contact you guys, and Thomas was, he led the voice call and everything. I got to have a conversation with him, and immediately I was won over. I mean, I think I was gonna say yes even before the
The
call.
enrollment call. Yeah.
But
Well, we were texting a little bit, right? Like
yeah,
we were going to San Diego on a trip, and what I
yep,
remember it is like, oh, I thought I shut my calendar off for the day, and I'm like, okay, let me text this Greg guy and just
yep,
see if we
yep,
have any type of rapport, and if we
yep.
do, then I'll just do the call in the hotel. So, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so I ended up signing up. Thomas did a great job to convince me, and I probably didn't need a whole lot of convincing, but the program really blew me away, and I wrote it down too. There's really like five things I really took away. The first one was, you pay like one-time payment, and you're in the program for life, and I think that's really special, especially, and not only that, you guys are also you become my dating coach, and that's something that you have forever. I go back to what I said before. Most men don't have a romantic or dating coach in their lives. Like, I think especially for men too, in terms of like any education should be like number one. So that was the big thing, was all the modules you guys had. 40, it might have grown from the last time I checked it out, 40 plus. I immediately absorbed that in my first 2 months, largely because I didn't even have social media. So I had to create my social media presence in the
Yeah.
meantime. All of that information, I mean, even when I started, started with the social media, started with the dating apps, I would go back to like the lessons I previously looked at, like Dating Blueprint 1, I think I rewatched like, 20 times, just to
You're a good
just to
student.
always, that was like my ritual. I would try and put you on like 2.0 speed. And then I was, as I was like getting ready for the date, I was like, all right, this is like what I need to do in the first date. I thought that was really good. And that goes into my second point. And I think this is what makes your program really special. And I think this is something too that men need to realize when they're in the courtship phase, they're when they're dating, is all of your material, all your lessons trains the man to be the leader in the relationship. And I think that's what a lot of men need to understand when they decide to take dating seriously. That's the mindset that they have to have, is to be a leader in the dating process and embrace it too. Like it's fun once you start understanding like, oh, this is like my job. In heterosexual relationships is taking on that leadership role, and you guys demonstrated that from the Blueprint 1 always, or all throughout the whole. You talk about it all the time throughout the module, and I thought that was very powerful. When I was going through this journey, it really did kind of wake me up to the 21st century dating, the reality of it, being adaptable. And it made me accept that. Like it made me accept the fact that my dating experience is going to be different from my parents. My dad was a bouncer and my mom was a bartender, and that's how they met.
Right.
But now everyone has so many options now because you have online dating, and that goes into the fourth, key thing I took out of this was the marketing aspect of dating. I think for a lot of like, even for me, I have flaws. Every guy has flaws. There are things even from initial appearances on your dating profile. Like I'm 5'7", I'm a short king. So I gotta really kind of embrace that, lean into it.
Yep.
But I think the great thing about your, like, you recognize that not every person, every guy is perfect, but you have to market yourself. You have to, in the modules you learn how, this is how I make my online pictures, going above and beyond, getting like a professional photog. And it's really taking advantage of the things that other guys just aren't doing. Like other guys aren't gonna they're not willing to pay the extra money to get professional pictures. When I started your program, I was like, I want to try and get my profile out there, and I want to be kind of like a social scientist, see what works, see what doesn't work. That brings me to the last thing, the program, and this is the biggest thing I took away. It's the end state of the program is you get to the point where you have so many dates, you just don't have enough time for those dates. That's the perfect scenario. That's where you want to be at. I think even now I lost count. I've probably been on like 50-ish dates now, or something like that. I was in I was in a 6-month relationship. I kind of figured it didn't work out for me, so I ended up breaking up with her. I really think for anyone in the program, their goal should be to get to the point where they have a lot of options, and you're not just settling for the first woman that shows interest in you, because there's a really high chance she might not be compatible with you. And the other big thing on that, and this is I would say the biggest thing for me, was when you do get to that point, when you are dating a lot, you are getting all those options, you do have like, like probably 3 or 4 women that you're dating at the same time. You might be intimate with like 2 of them. A third one might wants you to get to be like inclusive with them. And you're kind of at that like crossroads now where you're like, all right, I got to make a decision. Do I, continue dating this one person? Do I end up telling the other ones like, hey, I'm not interested anymore? Or do I tell them all that like, hey, I want to keep on dating, and it's
Yeah.
like I'm not willing to kind of settle down type of thing. And I kind of coined that for myself. I don't know if you have like a term for this, but it's like I call it the gray zone, morally ambiguous area of the 21st dating century. I think the most important thing that I took away from that was character, because you're doing all these things, you're dating a lot, you're marketing yourself. You are trying to be someone's like Prince Charming. You're trying to also be the best version of yourself. You're being a leader in these relationships, and it comes down to character. Like when you do get to that point, it allows you to, be upfront with women. And honestly, I feel like when you start showing a high character and the whole program helps you build up to getting high character, it just makes you a better person overall. So, I got to go through the whole experience, I felt like. And now, I'm about to leave the military. I'm about to go to in the reserves. I'm not leaving it completely, but I'll be moving. I already moved once in the program. I'm going to be moving again, most likely to large city. It could be like anywhere in the US. But I really do look forward to taking everything I learned in the program, be able to use it in a like a larger city. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then I'm also stable. That's, the biggest thing for me is that stability. I think all the women I've been dating, the biggest question is, hey, like, what's next for you? Like, are you going to stay here? Are you going to
Yeah.
move again? But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm so excited for what's to come. I'm super blessed. I have a lot of gratitude for taking that time out of my life to, learn how to date uh, from the experts, and you guys are my coaches in romance for life now. So, I'm always gonna hit you guys up. You can't,
Always.
you won't lose Greg Turncom. Like I'm gonna come back and be like, hey, I need I need help on this. And
Always. You came to the man cave like 2 or 3 weeks
yeah,
ago, right? Yeah,
yep.
for sure.
Yeah.
One thing that I will say about you that's a little different, there's probably going to be a lot of people that watch this video over time that might want to join. Like, we can see who does the work, right, Emily? And you did the work from day one. You got through the modules, you posted in Facebook when you needed help, you came to the coaching calls. I think you even did an IG session with Mia. You really like, you're an A student. Okay. Clearly you have some work ethic built from your life. So I just want to tell you that you are a top tier, whatever you're going to do, wherever you're going to go, you're going to be great, man, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I want to say thank you for your service because that's,
Thank you.
unbelievable. But I love that you said I used to watch the first date blueprint on repeat before every date. That I swear I've heard from every single person who has
Yeah.
really great outcomes in this program is that they don't just watch it one time. You sometimes have to see things like over and over and over to really absorb it. And so making that part of your pre-date ritual is so powerful. And yeah, you can totally speed it up and just, oh, that's right, that nugget, that nugget. Yep.
Yeah. I'll tell you a
Yeah.
quick funny story. In 2007-ish, 8-ish, 9-ish, when I was like hardcore dating, there was no dating apps. And so I used to like listen to this pump up song and like this whole thing on YouTube before I went to go get numbers, because that's what you had to do. You had to get pumped up and you had to go get the numbers. And I had my scripts in my back pocket. And it's just it's wild how things are shifting, but it's still the same type of process.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And it wasn't just the blueprint one. I mean, it's for all of the, the second date, the third date. I mean, even the intimacy, even, like I would always kind of go back, rewatch them, and that's what worked for me. That's what kind of helped me for my nerves, and and it's fun. Like I love dating.
Yes.
I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, I do. I really do love dating. I mean, it changed my mindset completely from my 20s, and I think people who come into the program, you guys being able to change their, their belief, their perception about dating, I think that's very powerful.
I remember the table you were sitting on during the enrollment call. I think you were at your sister's house. You were doing something. You're completely night and day. Like you're really a different. Not that you weren't a great guy before,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you've changed in the last year and a half. You're in 5 months since you joined, and
yeah.
you've came a long way, man.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even my style, I'm using, I'm trying to look, more stylish, and that's another module like in M's program. I was like, all right, time to update the wardrobe. It does improve your confidence, and I mean, your confidence is key to, being in that relationship or dating, and same thing too. Like I keep going back to being a leader, it's like, you first trying to be a leader of yourself. And then, after that, it's you trying to be a leader in that in the dating sphere or relationships.
And then guess what? When one day, if you ever get married, you're going to be the leader of your family.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
they're going to look up to you. You might have some boys, some girls, whatever it is, and they're going to need you to guide them in life. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never
Yeah.
stop being the leader.
Never stop.
Exactly. You never stop. Yeah. And I think it's good, practicing that skill set, all trying to turn it on all the time during dating, is very important. I feel like you can read any statistic, you can go online. Like I think, and I mean, and you can probably say this too. It is like the number one most attractive trait that a man can display. I have a few female friends that I hang out with, and one of them just talks to me all the time about one of her bosses. She's like, he's so hot, like he's so organized, and all these generals, call him up and he's making all these decisions. And she's like, man, like I really want to date him, but I can't because he's like my boss.
That is so like built in sexy, right? When you've got a
Yeah.
leader, but yeah, there's the whole consent thing, and that doesn't work with a boss.
I'm sure in the military it's even more stringent.
I'm
Yeah. Oh
sure.
yeah. It's fraternization. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, but you can't.
Oh,
As a friend, like you can't do that.
yeah. I'm sure he would love to know though that she respects him in that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, well, that's so cool. Well, it's just been such a pleasure having you in the emlovz family, and we're here for you even when you get into your relationship as well. So I hope that, even though it's a lifetime program with dating, we certainly hope that you find love,
Yeah.
and that, we're here to support that as well. And
Yeah,
just
and
so cool to watch you.
wherever you go, like if you move to Chicago or LA or
Yeah.
New York City, we got, a lot of subgroups you could join. There's a lot of great guys wherever you're going to go if you don't
Yeah.
have friends where you go, and let us know. We'll introduce you to some locals.
I'm all about it. I'm all about the accountability buddies. I know we didn't really talk a whole much about that, but every single time I'm on the Facebook group, I do love chatting with the different guys in the group. I mean, even like Thomas was like another guy I've never met before,
Right,
but
right.
I feel like I've known him forever. I'd love to, meet him in person. Same thing. There's a few other guys like that too on the group. Yeah, I hope wherever I move next, there's like another emlov,
Oh yeah,
group guy.
for
And
sure.
yeah, so
There will be for sure.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
So cool. Well, thanks
All
for
right,
joining
dude.
us today, Greg. Really
yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah, no problem, guys. Anytime.
All right, keep up the good work. All right, we'll see you in the group.
Yeah.
All right, I'll catch you guys.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.